Emily Carter had always believed that love was a luxury for other people. At 27, she was drowning in hospital shifts, overdue bills, and the silent terror of losing the only family she had left, her 8-year-old brother, Noah. Their parents had died in a car accident years ago, leaving Emily to grow up overnight. She worked as a nurse at a private medical facility in the city, the kind that catered to the wealthy and powerful. Every day, she watched expensive cars pull into the marble driveway while she calculated whether she could afford another month of rent. When Noah was diagnosed with a rare heart condition that required a surgery costing more than she would earn in 10 years, Emily's world collapsed. Insurance denied coverage. Loans were rejected. Friends offered prayers, not solutions. And then one evening, after a brutal 12-hour shift, the hospital director called her into his office with an offer that sounded like something out of a twisted fairy tale. A billionaire patient, Daniel Harrington, was dying. He was young, only 35, but his condition was terminal. His powerful family wanted him married before he passed away, to secure certain inheritance clauses and avoid a corporate war over his empire. In return, they would pay for Noah's surgery, cover all her debts, and provide financial security for life. The catch: she had to marry a man who was expected to die within months. Emily felt sick. Marriage was sacred to her. But so was her brother's life. That night, she sat beside Noah's hospital bed, listening to the steady beep of the monitor. He smiled weakly and told her not to cry. That was the moment she signed the contract. The wedding was private and cold, held in a quiet hospital chapel. Daniel lay pale and silent in a wheelchair, his sharp features softened by illness. He was once known as a ruthless business genius, the youngest tech billionaire in the country. Now he looked fragile, almost broken. Emily wore a simple white dress provided by the Harrington family. There were no vows of love, only legal words and signatures. When the ceremony ended, she expected to feel shame. Instead, she felt numb. She moved into the Harrington estate, a mansion so large it echoed with loneliness. Her new husband barely spoke, treatments had drained his strength. Emily did what she did best, she cared. She adjusted his medications, monitored his symptoms, read to him when insomnia haunted him at night. At first, Daniel treated her like a stranger fulfilling a contract. His eyes were cold, distant. But Emily never complained. She reminded herself daily, this is for Noah. Weeks passed. Something strange began to happen. Daniel's condition stabilized. Doctors were confused. Experimental treatments that were supposed to slow the inevitable suddenly started showing dramatic results. His organs responded. His strength returned little by little. Rumors spread through the estate that it was a miracle. Emily tried not to hope too much. Miracles didn't happen to people like her. One evening, as she helped Daniel walk slowly through the mansion garden, he stopped beneath the soft glow of the lantern lights. "Why do you care?" he asked quietly. His voice was stronger now. "You got what you wanted. Money. Security." Emily looked at him, surprised by the bitterness in his tone. "I never wanted your money," she said honestly. "I wanted my brother to live." For the first time, Daniel truly saw her, not as a gold digger forced into his life, but as a woman who had sacrificed her dignity for love. Something shifted in his expression. Over the next few months, his recovery shocked the medical world. Headlines called it a medical phenomenon. Investors celebrated. The Harrington board prepared for his triumphant return. But inside the mansion walls, something far more powerful was unfolding. Daniel found himself waiting for Emily's footsteps in the hallway. He noticed the way she hummed softly while organizing his medications. He admired her fierce protectiveness when she spoke about Noah. The more his body healed, the more his heart changed. He began asking her about her dreams, her childhood, the things she had given up. And Emily, against her better judgment, started answering. The day Daniel was officially declared in remission, the mansion erupted in celebration. Champagne bottles popped. Executives toasted to the future. Emily stood quietly on the balcony, feeling out of place. Her part of the agreement was over. He was no longer dying. He no longer needed a contractual wife. She planned to ask for a divorce once Noah's surgery was complete. She told herself it was the right thing to do. That night, As she packed a small suitcase, Daniel walked into the room without knocking. He looked healthier than she had ever seen him, strong, confident, alive. "Are you leaving?" he asked, his voice steady but his eyes vulnerable. Emily nodded. "This was never real," she whispered. "You deserve someone who married you for love." Daniel took a slow step closer. "And what if I've fallen in love with the woman who married me to save her brother?" The words hung in the air, heavy and undeniable. Emily's heart pounded. This wasn't part of the contract. This wasn't supposed to happen. "You don't owe me anything," he continued. "But I owe you my life. Not just because you took care of me. Because you showed me what it means to fight for someone. No one has ever loved me the way you love your brother." And somewhere along the way, I fell. Tears filled Emily's eyes, but fear held her back. "What if you wake up one day and regret choosing the nurse who was paid to marry you?" she asked. Daniel gently took her hands, the same hands that had steadied him when he could barely stand. "Then I'll remind myself that she stayed when I was dying. That she expected nothing when she thought I wouldn't survive. That her love wasn't for sale." He paused, his voice softening. "Stay. Not because of a contract. Stay because we choose each other." In that moment, Emily realized something powerful. She had entered his life as a sacrifice, but she was leaving as a choice. The next morning, instead of filing for divorce, they visited Noah together. Daniel sat beside the hospital bed and promised the young boy that he would always protect his sister. Noah grinned and whispered, "I knew he wasn't going to die. Heroes don't die." Emily laughed through her tears. Months later, Noah's surgery was successful. Daniel returned to lead his company, but he was no longer the cold billionaire the world feared. He invested in medical foundations, funded programs for struggling families, and built a charity in Emily's name. And at a second wedding, this time filled with laughter, real vows, and genuine love, they promised forever without contracts, without fear, and without conditions. Sometimes life forces you into impossible choices. Sometimes love grows in the most unexpected places. And sometimes, what begins as a sacrifice becomes the greatest blessing of all. If this story touched your heart and you believe in miracles, second chances, and love that defies the odds, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and join our family for more unforgettable stories that inspire hope and remind you that even in the darkest moments, destiny may be writing a beautiful ending.